Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm your host Gray, and today I'll be presenting my review of Ori and the Will of the Wisp. The game is a direct sequel to 2015's critically acclaimed Ori and the Blind Forest. The story starts out a bit after the first one concluded. It follows our main character Ori and his newly found companion the Owl. Shortly after some unfortunate events, both of them find themselves separated in a new land. While searching for your owl friend, you meet new companions and enemies along the way. The game is a MetroidVania / exploration platformer. It urges the player to explore secrets hidden throughout the world in order to unlock certain abilities that allows the player to progress further into the game. First, let's start with the graphics, since visual presentation is the first thing many people notice. The game is simply stunning. It boasts a hand-drawn 2D aesthetic, blended with 3D models and character to create a truly breathtaking world to explore and behold. One of the things that stood out to me was the quality of the animation. From Ori's slight frown to the way he grabs to a pole while dashing, everything was well animated and had a perfect weight to it, showcasing Ori's small structure and flexibility. Most of the combat moves are also well weighted. This gives an extra layer to the combat, as the slight pauses and slow motion expresses the power of the attacks perfectly. Enemies are well choreographed too, making it easy for the player to see and dodge incoming attacks without making it too simple. Overall, the graphical presentation is top-notch. The studio has gone well and above my expectation. The only downside I noticed is when playing on a large 4K TV, you can easily notice the difference between 3D and 2D elements presented on the screen. However, this issue was not noticeable on my PC monitor. Other issues faced while playing on a TV is the color banding that occurs in the dark shades. It was quite noticeable. However, on my PC monitor it was not an issue. Note that the game was played without HDR on, as HDR is still not supported on the PC version as of the release of this review. Note that HDR might solve some of the banding issues presented in the PC version of the game. The sound presentation of Ori is class-leading for a 2D game. The game's sound effects were beautifully mixed into a large soundstage that simply draws you into believing that the world presented is real. The inclusion of surround sound took me by surprise, considering this is a 2D platformer, as the separation of each channel was amazing. You can clearly hear the thuds of Ori's footsteps on the wood coming out of the central speaker, while the enemies were projected on the left and right channel, creating this open soundscape where you can pinpoint every single detail of the scene. The surround channels produced extra wind and water sound effect that further draws you into every area that you're playing, making the sound presentation of the game top-notch and a benchmark for 2D games. Gameplay-wise, the game is a well-crafted Metroidvania that emphasizes fluid movements and combat. Out of all the Metroidvanias I've played, Ori easily takes the crown for fluidity and combat. Exploration in the game is intricate and detailed too. However, I found that most secrets and challenges were a bit too easy to obtain, especially since they give you the option of spending some of your points in order to show basically every essential upgrade on the map. The game features a new updated combat system which offers a nice amount of variety to your skill set, making every encounter feel fresh. If you're the kind of person who likes changing playstyles a lot, this game will certainly please you. This variety also extends to the enemy designs, as some of the enemies may look the same, but have expanded movesets that they cycle through, adding extra layers to every encounter. The amount of side quests available and the inclusion of a centralized hub are welcomed addition to the game, as they expand some of the lore and give you a slight visual gratification of the progress you've made and the citizens you've helped. But by far my favorite thing about this game is the chase sequences. These sequences are usually accompanied with wonderfully composed music that complements the action of the screen perfectly. I also loved that the song keeps on playing even when you fail the sequence. This helps emphasize the intensity and do not break the feel of a chase scene. Overall, the gameplay aspect of the game is top-notch, with little to no downsides I can think of. Heading on to performance and PC-specific options. While I played the game on a beefy machine, which includes a 7th generation i7 7700K and a GTX 1080 Ti, I did notice some dips in frame rates when playing in 4K. This is nothing major, however, as they are not frequent at all. This is likely due to the game's engine, since the developer opted to go for the Unity engine when developing this game. Some slight bugs were encountered, but none of them were game-breaking. However, these things are overshadowed for me personally with the inclusion of 120 FPS gameplay and native ultra-wide support, which includes the cutscenes, which most games don't support for some reason. Overall, the game ran smoothly, and the inclusion of PC-specific features and surround sound are more than welcome. I found that the overall story was well written and directed, in which it kept me engaged and related me to the main cast of characters, mainly Ori, throughout his journey. Many of the story elements are portrayed through body gestures and musical notes, which help express the character's emotion and thoughts. The game includes no voice acting other than grunts the character makes sometimes. Dialogues, though scarce, is well written, and the narrative is mostly portrayed through the action and visual cues rather than in written form for the player. It's genuinely hard to find things I didn't like about Ori and the Will of the Wisp. The game was stunning and kept me on the edge of my seats. I managed to collect all secrets and abilities available in the game. Although I played the game for 12 hours, I instantly craved more when the credits rolled, making Ori and the Will of the Wisp one of the best games I've played in a while. Thank you for watching, and if you really liked the video, please subscribe and like, and maybe leave a comment down below. Also, I really appreciate that you watched it this far. Thank you, and goodbye.